Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, citizens of Jackson County. Appreciate this opportunity. Just a brief introduction of the gentleman who will be giving you this short briefing today on nuclear safety and nuclear history. Mr. David Lochbaum is the Director of the Nuclear Safety Project for the Union of Concerned Scientists. Mr. Lochbaum served many years as a nuclear power plant operator with the TVA and also served as a nuclear technology instructor with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Mr. Lochbaum has testified before Congress and NRC on many occasions concerning nuclear safety and has provided each of those bodies on many occasions with formed analysis of the nuclear industry's operations. For that reason, our local environmental group, the Bellefonte Efficiency and Sustainability Team, has asked Mr. Lochbaum to make a presentation to you today so that when y'all are asked to make important decisions concerning the Bellefonte nuclear power plant, you will be better advised on nuclear power issues which may come for you. Mr. Lochbaum.
Thank you, Gary, and thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, for this time. I'd like to talk to you today a little bit about nuclear power's outlook. Hopefully at a level, not at a level, but with some recommendations that you could use for your community here in Jackson County. I want to start with a discussion of something called, a brief discussion, something called the bathtub curve, which is the failure rate of products, people, cars, nuclear power plants, and etc. over time. It's called the bathtub curve due to its shape. On one end of the curve is the break-in phase, where the chance of failure is a little bit higher due to operator error, or bad products, or bad assembly. The other end of the curve is the wear-out phase, where the chance of failure once again goes up due to aging, embrittlement, and other degradation over time. If you look at the break-in phase of the nuclear bathtub curve, there's some lessons that might be learned from that. Overall, in the United States history, 263 reactors have been ordered. Of those 263, 104 are currently operating today. 28 have been permanently shut down. 127 were canceled before they ever split any atoms and went into operation. And 4 reactors are currently under construction in the United States. In addition to the reactors that were canceled during construction, a number failed early on in their life, including Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island, and Browns Ferry had a fire a year into its life, sodium reactor experiment in California. All these disasters occurred in the first year or two of the plant's lifetimes. If you look at the other end of the curve, the wear-out phase, I mentioned there are 28 reactors that have been permanently shut down. These reactors are licensed for 40 years. Their owners and their communities thought they were going to get roughly 40 years of usefulness out of their power plants. On average, those 28 reactors operated for 14.3 years, well short of their expectations. In fact, none of the reactors that have permanently shut down made it to the end of their 40-year operating lifetimes. Of the 132 reactors that did operate for various periods of time, 31% had costly year-plus outages. Safety problems built up over time and took more than a year to correct. Only 91 reactors operated without ever having a year-plus outage. 30 reactors had 1 year-plus outage. 11 reactors had 2 year-plus outages in their lifetimes. And it happened across the country from West Coast to East Coast and in between. On the other end of the curve, the wear-out phase, the Fukushima accident last year in Japan, or 2 years ago now, in Japan, was 3 weeks shy of its 40th birthday. Some contend that this disaster wasn't related to aging or the wear-out phase because tsunamis can hit anybody at any time, which is true, but a few years prior to that accident, it was determined that that plant's seawall to protect it from tsunamis was shorter than it needed to be. Did the owner decide not to repair or upgrade the seawall because the plant only had a few years left and decide not to do the wall protection measures or not? It's, in hindsight, they're now building taller seawalls at the surviving plants, but it was too late for Fukushima. I mentioned there's currently 4 reactors being built, 2 in Georgia, 2 in South Carolina. Later this spring, in April, a plant in Wisconsin will be permanently shut down due to poor economics. It's short of its 40-year lifetime, and it's not going to make it. And there are 4 reactors in the United States that have been shut down for more than a year due to various safety problems. It's not determined yet whether they will or will not restart. Crystal River 3 in Florida looks like it won't because the price of fixing it is just too high. It's over $1 billion. some other plants may or may not. With that background, I can't tell you what the local outlook is. In that forecasting, I have more of a, I don't have a crystal ball, I have more of a bowling ball for projecting the future. There are some things that we can see with some precision, and there are other things that we can't. As far as the questions of whether the reactors at Bellefonte will operate, I don't know. I think there's various speculation, but I don't think anybody knows for certain. In the related questions, the nearby reactors over in Browns Ferry in Alabama, Limestone County, how long will they operate? They're licensed for, and they've been extended to operate for 60 years. They haven't made 40 yet. Will they or won't they? But that's a bowling ball. I can't tell you what those answers are. I wish I could. But what I can tell you is if the Bellefonte reactors start, or if the Browns Ferry reactors, they will at some point shut down. They're not immortal. History has shown us that most often they will shut down unexpectedly. There'll not be a 5-year plan that allows everybody, the workers, the owner, and the communities to plan for that. It will come out as a surprise and quite a bit as a shock when that day comes. In addition, if you look at the plants that were canceled during construction, you don't cancel a plant 2 years in advance. You generally, it's about a year after you probably should have. So that also becomes a surprise as well. On that score, the poster child for that is the Shoreham Nuclear Plant on Long Island. It cost approximately $8 billion to build. It cost approximately $1 billion to dismantle. It never generated a watt of nuclear electricity. So it was the most expensive electricity never generated. It was a big hit on the local community when the owner pulled the plug and decided to dismantle it. There were a bunch of jobs, there were tax revenues, there were a lot of infrastructure issues that were unexpectedly changed dramatically when that plant permanently shut down or was canceled. So I think the lesson that may be applicable to you would be that perhaps reach out to your counterparts at the county and the city level in some of these areas on things they did to plan for these days, or things that in hindsight they wish they would have done to plan for these days, whether it's planning for setting aside some money for job relocation, job retraining, to retain the jobs in the communities, whether it's some things they did or wish they'd have done to soften the tax cut or the tax revenue change that happened rather dramatically, or if there's other things they did that could be lessons to you to how to help this community deal with life after nuclear, because of the crystal ball things, that day is coming. I just don't know when it's going to be. And I think some of these communities in the Sacramento plant, outside of Sacramento, the Rancho Seco plant, they did some things to keep the jobs in the communities. They built some more energy production facilities on that plant site because it's a large footprint. So they built some solar panels and some other things to keep costs down. Electricity costs did not jump up. They also retained some of the jobs in the area to help the local community. There was a workforce there. It's a shame to see it go elsewhere when the plant shuts down. So I think there's a number of plants around the country and a number of situations that may provide lessons on things to do here or some things to avoid there. So I think that would be the lesson today, or my message today was that there are some case studies that may be very useful to you as you make decisions in the future. I'd be glad to put you in touch with some of those communities or the people I know in those communities. We'll provide you whatever documents we have on some of those case studies if it will be interest to you. So I'd be glad to help in that regard. I also have copies of these remarks if that will be helpful to you as well. Appreciate the time again, and if we can help you in the future, please let me know. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Ward or Mr. Lochbaum? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is the temporary